Indiana Jones. It's supposed to come out next year.
Really?
The fifth one, yeah.
Is Harrison Ford going to do it?
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Rams Digital Sports Network. It's the first time I've said it all season long on this show.
Is
you know
it?
that? Yeah, because Jackson, our producer, introduced us to that. And I had no clue. I got to forget. It's all encompassing to say everything. By the way, I'm Joey Jarvis. This is the Bluefield University Coaches Show, and sitting with a coach. First of all, let's just start off the show. Handshake, man. Congratulations, head coach Dewey Lusk of the football team. 6-5. What a great season it's been for your football squad.
Oh, man. Well, I haven't tackled anybody, thrown a
Thank
pass, or
goodness.
ran the ball, or done any of that. But, man, I've enjoyed watching our kids come together, flying around, playing team football, and it's been a lot of fun. It really has.
Well, mentioning that, for the second time this season, two of your players, actually several of your players, swept the Mid-South Conference Appalachian Division weekly honors. LeBron Fields, that kid was just greased lightning. He was going everywhere. Yeah. He was named Offensive Player of the Week. What did he end up? I didn't see the stat sheet. What
He
did he
had
end up with?
222 yards rushing, and I think he was, 12 yards off or something? Was it 234 is the record?
From setting the school record?
Alex Martin he has a school record at 234. And, LeBron had a couple plays where negative yards, and and he's learning. Just go down.
Yeah.
And instead, but
because then he probably would have been really close there.
Oh, he'd have been very close.
Well, he was named.
What a great night for him.
He was just phenomenal. And the thing is, the future's so bright for a lot of your offensive stars. Let's say also congratulations, the gentleman. I swear, a young man. First season I met him a couple years ago, and just he's been a gentleman ever since, and he really proves it. But he doesn't play like a gentleman. Plays nasty on defense. DeMarcus Winbush,
what a great
Defensive
young
Player
man.
of the Week.
What award hadn't he won? And he deserves every one of them plus some.
And just a good human being overall.
A
great team captain. So if somehow you can get him on as a GA, I'd like to push for it.
I have a feeling that man's going to be making some money doing something. Somebody's going to hire him up because
just his football IQ alone would.
Well, football IQ, personality. I mean, he's something else.
Yeah, he was a great leader. It was awesome to see him go out on a high note like that. And we got a great foot with Joey Dales. He was a special teams player of the week.
And what a great kid. And you know what? We've got him for 3 more years.
Yeah, and his awesome shoes. When he played at Graham, I used to cover Graham High School football. Graham's the local high school here in Bluefield, Virginia, for those that might be watching from outside. He always had the most interesting cleats out of anybody. You could spot him out of the crowd based on the color of his cleats.
Well, he had him on this year.
Yeah, he did.
And
it
you could
was
see him coming.
That was incredible. So let's take a retrospective, not just of this game, although that was an interesting game this past Saturday against Union. A hungry 1-8 Union team came in, and they gave 1-8, 1-9. They came in and gave you everything you needed.
And coaching-wise, we kind of figured that was going to happen.
Yeah.
When you talk about rivals, you want to talk about Emory and Henry, and you want to talk about that. But probably within the AAC, and Bob, you correct me if I'm wrong, I would say it's Union in all sports. And we knew they were going to come in here and play. And let me tell you, John Luttrell, their football coach, what an outstanding human being.
I've heard a lot of good character quotes about him.
Tim Curry, the athletic director, who also used to coach women's basketball here, if I'm not mistaken. What a great individual. And, we're all talking before the game, and just we're all good friends, just good, solid people. But they came in here ready to play.
They came with a good game plan.
And they were trying to keep the ball from us. They were I think they went for 8 fourth downs.
I was going to say, it was probably a record for them, the amount of fourth downs they tried to convert on that, which they did successfully.
They played well. And offensively, we didn't have our A game, but we were able to run the football.
You were.
And if you can run the football, stop the run, and kick it a little bit, you got a great opportunity to win.
The one play that struck me, and granted, I'm sitting up in the booth so excited, yelling and screaming, that 100+ yard fumble recovery from Fennessy, and then all of a sudden I see the yellow flag. My spotter that works with me up in the booth, there's a flag on the field. How deflated was that poor young man after that return?
KD.
I bet he was, because he is just a great young man.
A great young man. But that's kind of been these last 5 games, and I've been waiting for 5 years for this to happen. We always talk about how do you handle adversity, and we just stepped up and went and started playing again. And that's what you have to do. That play's over. You never want to question an official, not supposed to or whatever. What I'm going to say is that was mighty close.
It was
on the offsides part.
Was.
But anyhow, kept playing, and
the rest is history.
And we won the game. And at the end of the day, that's what we want to do.
Well, retrospective-wise of this season, which was a unique year, not a calendar year, not just a unique season, but a unique calendar year for you. You technically played 2 seasons this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you did. I mean, you really did. You played this spring, and then you came back and played this fall. What was it like being a coach in that short amount of time and getting those amount of games in for your players?
Now, you got to remember, for 15 years, I was the offensive coordinator and head baseball coach, so I
forgot
straight.
Did you coach baseball?
So,
yeah.
Mentally, for me, it wasn't that bad.
Right.
I'd been through something like that. But, it was interesting. I was talking to the coach at Reinhardt, Coach Miller, the other day, and he was asking me, how are your kids mentally right now? And I said, well, Coach Miller, we are in the best spot we've ever been mentally since I've been here. It's because we're winning. The kids have bought in. They're doing the right thing. They're hustling around and playing. And according to him, aren't in the best shape right now because they've played back-to-back season, had playoffs, getting ready to go to the playoffs again. And, they've had a history of winning.
Right.
And so I don't know what that difference is, but right now our kids are fired up and ready to play and would keep playing if you
could. I hate that. I mean, it was almost like you saw the end of that game the other night, which you were victorious 29-21 over Union. I swear those kids they'd go back out to battle for you right now. And gladly wear those colors because that team jailed from game 1 till now. It was just one of those, like you said, it was just this metamorphosis from, hey, we're rookies in a way. I mean, you don't get that wrong. A lot of young mistakes, and then they were veterans out there at the end of the season.
And let me tell you this.
Even your freshmen.
We had the close loss with Reinhardt, the close loss with Faulkner, and the close loss with Thomas
Think about
Ford.
that. If
we had won 2 of those, and I know if and buts were candy and nuts, my goodness, what a Merry Christmas we'd all
we would
have.
Yeah. Oh.
But it's not out of the realm of possibility when you start thinking about that. But
especially these last 5 wins.
Oh, my goodness. If we'd won a couple of those, we might be sitting here getting ready for the playoffs next Saturday. And so it's not as far off as we might think, but what a great jump start on winter workouts and getting ready for next year. And I think recruiting, that'll help recruiting. And we've already had several receivers and already contacting us. But anyhow, what a great ending to a very special year. And you had the win over in Emory and Henry and finished 6-5 and 4-2 and 3rd in the league when you were picked next to last. And just a lot of positives, and a lot of kids grew and got better. And that's what it's all about.
Well, and your staff too. Look at the diversity your staff went through, and the adversity your staff. They're having to coach too. Through this whole season, 2 seasons back to back. Let's give some kudos to some of your others.
There's no doubt.
Your support
Our coaches love the game of football, and you can't run Coach Cackless and Coach Ketchum out of there. They'd be getting ready right now for one tomorrow if you had to. Mm-hmm. But Coach Ketchum, he's done a great job with our offense coming in here and with his experience and leadership. Coach Cackless, same deal. Look how much better the defense got as the year went along. And Coach Howard, Coach Jackson, Coach Gill, Coach Dunford, we're one big family. Yeah. It doesn't matter who gets the credit. You see staffs that are jealous of one another and fighting over here and doing that over there. Not our bunch. Mm-mm. And just just good family men and understand kids and how to coach them and how to raise them. And we are so fortunate at Bluefield to have an experienced collegiate staff like we do.
What's your off season look like? When we start getting into workouts?
Well, we'll have exit meetings tomorrow and Wednesday. Get the equipment up. Hand them a winter workout for over Christmas break. Then we're going to hit the road recruiting. We'll go up to about the middle of December whenever schools get out. Try to bring in a few at the break. Also recruiting kids for next fall. Coaching clinics January 8th through the 12th in San Antonio, Texas. So we'll head to that, and I'll get my 35-year coaching award there. So
hey,
that's
congratulations.
cool.
That's awesome. What a milestone.
Yeah, and then the kids come back around January 10th. So as soon as we get back from the clinic, we'll ramp it up and start 4 days a week winter workouts, and then middle of spring to the middle of spring. Spring ball will be the middle of March to middle of April, and we'll conclude with a spring game. So, we'll have a game sometime in April, and Bob will put it out on the website. So
BCRams.com.
So that way, if you want to get a feel for football, you can come back out or come to practice, whatever you'd like to do. Then exams 1st of May, summer, and back at it in August.
Can you imagine? It's going to fly by, and a lot of young men.
I don't know if it'll fly by or not, because just like you alluded to earlier, we've played back-to-back seasons so close. I really think it's going to feel like forever till we play
until you
again.
do get to snap the ball again. What a great season it was. You can go back and see all the broadcasts on our Digital Sports Network on our YouTube channel. Get links and a season wrap-up at bcrams.com. Head Coach Dewey Lusk, all I can say is it's been an entertaining year. I appreciate you letting me be a part of it and follow this journey with you and your young men, because that was just an incredible program to watch this year.
Well, I appreciate you doing what you do. I mean, I finally got to meet you, and you've been announcing our games there, and now you're doing this, and so you're a big part of it, and now have become the voice
it's
of
a lot
the Rams.
It's fun to be out there, and I'm telling you, folks, if you ever get a chance, you got to come see a home game at Mitchell Stadium, because I really think you've set up home there, and you all deserve to be there, and it's great to see football again. Winning football from Bluefield University. It's been an honor to be part of it.
Thank you.
Very happy for you. God bless you. You have a great offseason. Happy Thanksgiving, because I won't see you before then. Because you know me, you and I, we both like turkey.
Oh, my goodness, and all the things that come with it.
Oh, and the leftovers. I think I almost like leftovers better than the main meal.
My favorite thing the next day is a turkey sandwich.
With?
Mayonnaise.
Yes. Oh. A little bit of salt and pepper, but I'll put some. I'll do that. I'll put some stuffing on it.
Will you?
We don't call it dressing where I grew up. It's stuffing. You put stuffing on it. Try it.
Where are you from?
Right here, West
Right
Virginia.
here?
Yeah, I grew up in a place called Beeson, Lashmead. I'm a Lashmeadian or a Beesonite, whichever you want to say.
All right.
Yeah, like that really matters. Coach Dewey Lusk of the 6-5 football team. Follow their path for recruitment next year and learn some more about some of these bright young players that are coming back. Nathan Hurstich, a lot of offensive players, LeBron Fields, some receivers. I'm telling you, man, it's bright future for Bluefield University football, and I think we're in good hands with the staff, with Dewey Lusk and his crew. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you being part of the Coaches Show this season. Coming up in a little minute, we're going to be talking wrestling, plus give you a little bit of what's coming up in other sports. We're going to be talking with a young man who's had quite a journey to get to the mat here at Bluefield University. Zachary Silver going to be our guest coming up in just a few minutes. It's the Bluefield University Coaches Show on the Rams Digital Sports Network.
You say you have vision, but where's it taking you? Because true vision is seeing what could be, contending with the status quo. It's taking what shapes you and using it to shape the world. It's the higher calling, from the one who calls you his own. The higher vision, where visionaries are made. It's taking the higher road to a higher education. It's about discovering what God's placed inside of you is exactly what you need. It's knowing that to lead is to serve. And a life poured out is a life full and meaningful. So go. Go beyond the normal. Go stronger than before. Go make your mark. Make your impact. Go further.
Hey, welcome back to the Bluefield University Coaches Show right here on the Ram Digital Sports Network. I'm your host, Joey Jarvis. Coming up in a second, I'll be talking with a young man who's into wrestling. At least that's what we called it where I grew up. It's wrestling, part of the wrestling team here at Bluefield University. Do you want to get you caught up on some other sports here at Bluefield University? Men's basketball player Jeremiah Beat the Buzzer Jenkins is the Appalachian Athletic Conference Player of the Week. Jenkins averaged 22 points in 3 games last week, 2 of them game winners. Young man's just incredible. Wednesday night, women's and men's basketball are going to be at the Dome against AAC foe Kentucky Christian. The women will tip at 5:30 on Wednesday, men at 7:30. The teams are on the road again on Saturday at Tennessee Wesleyan. You can catch coverage of those basketball games, home games at least, online at bcrams.com and in other seasons and away games as well. Get more information all online at bcrams.com. Wrestling going to be at the King University Open this Sunday in Bristol, Tennessee. And on the topic of wrestling, they hit the mats yesterday. The Cougar Open, hosted by Averett University. Luke Young wrestled to a third-place finish in the 184-pound weight class. Man, that's got to be strong to be doing that. And this young man right here who's got a firm handshake, I just shook his hand a second ago. Zachary Silver was 8th in the 165-pound class. Zach, welcome into the Coaches Show. 160. It was an open. Let's talk about this. Just to the layman, let's talk about what an open wrestling tournament is. An open wrestling match. What is it?
All right. So basically, you got like a school will host a tournament,
Right.
And although it's mainly for college students or college athletes, anyone can come in. So whether it be like a high school student or a high school wrestler who's just like competing out of the league, basically, they can come in, get some extra work to get them prepared for.
So you were wrestling people that weren't just in your conference. You were wrestling people from everywhere.
Oh,
I mean, pretty much.
I think there was like 15 to 20 teams there. I mean, I know my bracket was a 32-man bracket, so.
And you finished 8th out of 32.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to give you that's kudos on that one, man. What a great accomplishment. Let's talk about your life getting into wrestling. How many years you been? What year are you here at Bluefield University?
I'm in my 3rd year.
3rd year. So in which you started with the club level, and now it's a full competition. What's your journey been like wrestling here at Bluefield University?
Oh, man, it's been great. I mean, coming in, like, just even when I was in high school, I knew that I wanted to wrestle in college. It was a big dream of mine. And so I was looking around at schools, looking for where I could go. And Bluefield College just really was just what I needed because I really wanted a small school with a small, close-knit environment that would hold me accountable, that had good Christian values. And so I started talking to Coach Welty, and, we were talking about me possibly coming here. And the more I got to know him, got to know that he was someone who was going to support me and someone who wanted the best out of me in my athletics, I was really excited. And yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. So you've grown from your first year to now placing at an open with a 30-man, two-man tournament. Let's talk about your previous journey. From what I understand, you're a Virginia resident, correct? Where did you grow up at?
I grew up in actually, I was born and raised in Florida.
Okay.
Cocoa Beach, Florida. Lived there till I was 13. And then some things was going on in my family life. We came out to Virginia to kind of get a new start.
Mm-hmm. What part of Virginia were you in?
Clifton Forge, Virginia.
Oh, yeah, okay. Allegheny High School.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So you wrestled there?
Yeah, I wrestled at Allegheny County High School.
So what was it like wrestling in a school like that?
It was great. It's actually kind of funny. When I was younger, I think I was in like 8th grade, and I was out late at night, like 2 a.m. and and the high school coach was on his way back from a wrestling tournament that night, and he was and I was at the park with my friends, and he was going home, and he saw us there, and he's like, "What are y'all doing?" We're like, "Oh, I don't know." But he was like, "You should wrestle for me." And then so we started talking. Didn't end up wrestling right away, but then went on and ended up coming out for it, and really just fell in love with the sport and fell in love with competing. And it was a very good environment for me because it was.
Well, because it gives you structure. You
Yeah.
got to be regimented to be a wrestler, correct?
Oh,
I mean, you've got a
100%.
routine. I mean, because your off season, there really isn't one. You've got to stay in shape. You got to maintain weight, and you've got to be athletic 365, don't you?
Oh, all the time. I mean, like when I talking to my adopted dad at home, he's saying, like, even if I come home for break, even over summer break, he's like, "What are you watching? What I'm eating?" and like getting on me if I'm drinking soda or anything like that. So it's something you got to be on all the time.
What was the appeal of wrestling to you? Was it that structure, the need to have a schedule and be regimented? What was the true appeal to it?
I think the structure had a lot to do with it, and just offer me the opportunity to develop a work ethic, because I think the best thing about wrestling is you're going to develop a great work ethic.
Of course, you have to if you want to be
And-
successful.
Exactly, and so that's the stuff that I've learned from wrestling in itself, the stuff that I'm going to carry with me for wrestling.
Well, I was going to say, can you really apply it outside of the mat?
Oh, 100%. I mean, just from my work ethic in wrestling, I've gotten so much better with my academics. Just because
Really?
when you're so structured in wrestling, it allows you to be structured in all areas of life.
No, that's a good way to look at it, because you got to have discipline, not just on the mat. You got to have discipline there, but you got to have discipline outside if you even want to compete. The cool thing too that I've always been on the outside as a spectator with wrestling. Yes, it is a team sport, but individually you've got to be held accountable for your match, and you've got to be successful for yourself, but also for the team. I mean, how important is it to you when you get out there and start wrestling as part of a team, but individually? How important is each match to you?
So I'll say that when I was in high school, I'd say it was a lot more of an individual aspect. Always wanted to do my best, but then coming here to Bluefield and what we're trying to build here with a camaraderie and a brotherhood, it's become a lot more of a team aspect where, although it's just me going out on the mat, I've got my whole team behind me,
Right.
rooting me on, and I think that's made me a better wrestler in itself. Just having a brotherhood behind me who I know is going to support me and going to root me on the whole time.
So, I mean, there's a lot of competition and camaraderie, but there's a lot of competition within your own team, isn't there?
Yes. There's.
I mean, as far as like practices go, let's talk about that. Like practice with your own team. How difficult is it to wrestle some of your other teammates?
Oh, I'd say that's definitely how it is sometimes. It's rough in the practice room, but I mean, I think that's what's amazing about it. You come in the practice room and your teammates are gonna work you.
Yeah.
They're gonna work you. They're gonna make you better, and then and you might even get mad at each other. You might start fighting, but then the next day when you're competing, the person who you're fighting with the day before is the first person in your corner rooting you on.
That's the cool thing about it, because it's such an aggressive sport. But once you get finished, and once that hand goes down, and the match itself is over, that's when you shake the hands, you look each other in the eye, and you've been man on man. And I mean, that's a tough sport. I don't know how you guys do. I'm looking over our producer and cameraman Jackson, who's on the shelf on the men. I hate that he's not able to wrestle, but
Me too. You need them.
He's a strong young man. But your demeanor, you two, and any of the kids I've met from the wrestling team, you young men, you're so soft-spoken, so nice, and so so gentlemanly. But when you get out on the mat, you're a warrior. How do you change? How do you turn it on like that when you start a match against somebody? How do you turn it on to be aggressive? Because it's the most physical and one of the oldest sports in the world. Amateur wrestling is. How do you flip that switch and become a warrior like that?
I think a lot of it comes from our coaching. Jason Welty, our head coach, when we're in the practice room or actually before every practice, he'll sit us down and we'll have a talk, whether it be a biblical talk or anything, and he'll tell us things to get our mind right, and because of those things that he tells us, we know when to be gentlemen and when to be respectful of everything going on. But then when that whistle blows, we know that it's time to go and time to get the work done.
Well, sticking with that, how much of it, wrestling in terms of your competition, how much of it is physical? How much of it's mental? If you had to do a percentage on either one, about 50-50, or
Oh, definitely not.
really?
'Cause
The
you
physical
can-
part's more important, or you got to? I mean, there's a lot of mental aspects
I
to
would
it.
say it's probably 70 to 80% mental.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
Because anticipating what, like, to go from this one position to the next, or what you think your opponent's going to do.
I mean, one of the first things I learned about wrestling is it's about you got to know what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. So yeah, how to do it, that's physical, but you got to know what to do and when to do it. So you got to be able to time everything that's coming at you and just wrestle or just continue to work throughout the match. And a lot of times in that third period, when it's 5-5, 5-6, you're down a point and you got to work. That's mental right there, because you got to think, I'm going to take this kid down. And the other guy's thinking, no, he's not going to take me down. But you got to be willing to push through that, especially when you're tired, and just keep going, keep pushing.
You got to find a second win from somewhere so you get it from your
Oh,
brain.
yeah, 100%.
I tell you, man, to even be able to pull off what you pulled off yesterday, 8th out of 32 in an open tournament like that, that's quite the accomplishment. Do you think that might be one of the highlights so far for your young career here at Bluefield University?
Oh, I'd say it felt really good, for
Yeah.
sure. We were at this tournament 2 years ago, my freshman year, and I lost in the blood round, actually. And if you don't know what the blood round is.
No, please tell me.
What the blood round is, it's the match that you have to win to be in order to place. And so I was in the blood round yesterday, and Coach Welty came up to me and he said, this is your opportunity. You got to go out there, you got to get it done. Be a warrior, go out there, get it done, and frick.
No, you're fine. But you did.
I zoned out. But so anyway, he said, go out there, get it done, and don't let this be a moment where next week you're thinking, oh, if I would have just dug deeper in that match, then I would have placed. And so this was the first tournament that I had placed at in college, so it felt really good. But so Coach was like, don't let this be a moment 2 weeks from now when you're thinking, oh, I could have placed, or I
Don't let
dug
hindsight
deep.
be 20/20 in a way.
Or I could have dug deep at the time. He said, dig deep right now, get it done, and that's what I did.
Has that kind of been your MO your whole life? Has that kind of been your modus operandi, whatever they say that is? What do you know what I'm saying? Has that been kind of your mission statement for life? Because, I mean, we were talking off camera a little bit ago. You've been through a lot in your young life on this earth. You've gone through some diversity, but look where you're coming out at. Is that kind of been your MO, is not give up?
Yeah, that's one thing I've learned, had some struggles throughout life but one thing I realized is if I wanted something, I was going to figure out a way to get it, and I was going to figure out a way to work through the situations I was in. And I think that's another thing for why I love wrestling so much, because it is one-on-one, and whenever you're in a bad situation, you can work through it and you can put everything into it to be able to get the job done.
It's a lot of hard work and determination. You never quit, do you?
I don't like to.
Unless you're told to. And if your coach says to quit, then you better quit, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Just one of the many young men on this squad here, the Bluefield University wrestling team. What's the future hold for you? What do you anticipate to do? What are you majoring in here at Bluefield University?
I'm majoring in physical education and a minor in special education.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm hoping to graduate from Bluefield and then go on to teaching and coaching. Hopefully do that for about 10 to 15 years, and then maybe after that, maybe go into preaching as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Because you don't, I mean, kid your age to get into any type of divinity, any type of faith-based work, you don't hear that a whole lot anymore. So that's heartwarming to me, and that's heartwarming, I'm sure, to the supporters of Bluefield University, and it's a big deal to me. I appreciate that, young man.
Thank you so much.
Hey, congratulations to him. Once again, he finished 8th. Zachary Silver finished 8th out of a 32-man tournament in the 165-pound class at the Cougar Open that was at Averett University, and his teammate Luke Young wrestled to a third-place finish in the 184-pound weight class. Going to be wrestling at King Open, the King University Open, this Sunday in Bristol, Tennessee. You ready for that one?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm sure the team's excited as well, and I think we're going to do well, especially with the way things are looking right now, where although we're a very young team, we got a lot of freshmen on the team, I think just the aspect of becoming a team and building that brotherhood is making us really strong, and we're pushing, and I think we're going to get there.
Wow.
And next week is just going to be another step to be able to be where we need to be by conference time.
Well, you just keep it up. Keep up the hard work and help this young man get his arm back. That's what we got to do. Got to get Jackson's arm back. Zachary, seriously, it's an amazing honor to meet you. God bless you. Good luck with everything you do, and good luck to your team. And keep up to date with wrestling and more online at bcrams.com. Zachary Silver, our special guest tonight here on the Bluefield Coaches Show. Coming up in a minute, we'll wrap up all the week's festivities, get you ready for more sports. And don't forget, you can learn more about all the wrestling team and every other athlete at Bluefield University online at bcrams.com. We'll be back in just a minute to wrap it up. This is the Bluefield University Coaches Show on the Rams Digital Sports Network.
You say you have vision. But where's it taking you? Because true vision is seeing what could be, contending with the status quo. It's taking what shapes you and using it to shape the world. It's the higher calling from the one who calls you his own. The higher vision, where visionaries are made. It's taking the higher road to a higher education. It's about discovering what God's placed inside of you is exactly what you need. It's knowing that to lead is to serve. And a life poured out is a life full and meaningful. So go. Go beyond the normal. Go stronger than before. Go make your mark. Make your impact. Go further.
And welcome back to the Bluefield University Coaches Show as we wrap it up. Once again, special thank you to our guest tonight, head coach of the football team, Dewey Lusk, on a great season, finishing 6-5. Oh, what a great year it was to see football. Also, Zachary Silver from the men's wrestling team. What a great young man. And you can learn more about him. Just look up the Bluefield University Ram page, the Ram newspaper. Read a story about his life. Interesting young man, just one of many athletes there on the wrestling team. And, of course, you can learn more about all athletics at bcrams.com. Don't forget, wrestling will be on the road at the King University Open this Sunday in Bristol, Tennessee. Sports coming up Wednesday night. Women and men's basketball will both be at the Dome against AAC foe Kentucky Christian. Women will tip at 5:30, men at 7:30. Then the teams will be on the road this Saturday at Tennessee Wesleyan. Now, you can get home contests and road contests online at bcrams.com. Get links to other universities when we are on the road to see their broadcast. But get every home broadcast online right here at the Rams Digital Sports Network. We'll have the tip for you coming up, like we said, 5:30 for women, 7:30, or following the conclusion of the women's game for Bluefield University taking on Kentucky Christian this Wednesday. Big thank you to our guests, like I mentioned, Dewey Lusk and Zachary Silver. And thank you to Bob Red and our producer and one-armed man, the guy that's just got a big heart. And can't wait for him to wrestle again, Jackson, who brought you the coverage of the Bluefield football game this past Saturday. If you missed that exciting contest where Bluefield ended up being 6-5, having a winning season, you got to see a replay of it online at our website, bcrams.com, part of the Rams Digital Sports Network. We'll see you Wednesday. This is going to be the last edition of the 2021 year for the Coaches Show. We'll regain our composure after the holidays and come back and start off a new season for you next year. Until then, don't forget, get all your sports information at Bluefield University online at bcrams.com. On behalf of Bob Red, our sports information director, Tanya Walker, our vice president of athletic affairs, and our president, David Olivin, whole staff at Bluefield University, we thank you for tuning in this season. We'll see you next year. Literally, it'll be next year when we have the Bluefield University's Coaches Show. Until then, we'll see you on all sports broadcasts right here on the Rams Digital Sports Network. Good night. God bless.